Hello, welcome back to Mountain Jim Card Collectibles. Hope you're having a great week. So, today I want to talk about Michael Jordan. And I did a video about Michael Jordan yesterday that I had to take down because it appeared that the YouTube algorithm didn't like that video and more or less froze my account. So I took it down. But the issue with the YouTube algorithm more or less freezing my account with this issue is the fact that, well, that video is everywhere. And you can see what appears to be inappropriate touching. Now, there's a lot of people that want to argue against the fact that it was inappropriate touching. You know, if you saw the video I put out yesterday, there was only 14 views on it before I took it down. But it really does look inappropriate. And what gets me about the USA is the fact that, well, I guess you can be a big time celebrity like Michael Jordan, and the media and the public will go out of their way to stick up for you no matter what. Because let's face it, you know, anyone else would likely be sitting in jail for doing what Michael Jordan did. Now, I've always been a big Michael Jordan fan. You know, I've been watching, him play basketball starting in, more or less 1983, But I'm not sure if this has to do with the legal system in the U.S. because let's face it, it really feels like there's two different legal systems. There's a legal system for wealthy people, and then there's a legal system for everybody else, And so, there's a lot of people, sticking up for this incident. This is an innocent incident. And maybe it is. And I hope in my heart that it is, I hope that, this isn't just the beginning of a drip, drip, drip of other incidents. And I highly likely believe it isn't. Cross my fingers. Tyler Reddick breaks silence on Michael Jordan incident with the Sun. And this came out 7 hours ago. So, there's Tyler Reddick. NASCAR driver Tyler Reddick does not see what others see when it comes to the viral moment involving Michael Jordan and his son Bo at last Sunday's Daytona 500. Jordan, the co-owner of 23XI Racing, caught a lot of flack for allegedly making improper contact with Reddick's son at the podium when he appeared to pinch the 5-year-old in the lower back and brush his leg. Yeah, I mean, it's an ugly look. I mean, they said it right there. Addressing the controversy on Tuesday's Stephen A. Smith show, Reddick spoke of the close relationship his family and Jordan's family have built since he joined 23XI Racing in 2022. From my perspective, I've gotten to know Michael and his family very well over the years. I've been here with 23XI, and I don't see what other people see when it comes to this, Reddick said. So, Tyler Reddick's dad doesn't have a problem with this, And I just don't know what to say. I mean, when I see this type of stuff, what comes to mind is Child Protective Services. You ask yourself, does Child Protective Services need to step in on this issue and protect the boy? Like right here, Stephen A. Smith defends Michael Jordan amid backlash over viral Daytona 500 celebration. NBA legend Michael Jordan's Daytona 500 celebration sparked online debate for alleged inappropriate, deed. Okay. Tyler Reddick wins NASCAR Daytona 500 Michael Jordan owned car. Yep. Tyler Reddick defends Michael Jordan's Daytona 500 celebration after viral video sparks controversy. Yeah, I mean, it is a very controversial video. Okay, so now I'm on X, and I just want to scroll down here to try and read the room on this incident, see how, other fans are feeling about this. So to start us off, we have another clip from that video. And like I said, I would not run that video on here. I know it's all over X today, but for one reason, YouTube does not like the video, even though it's mainstream news. But, there's just a lot of people talking about this, right? Like right here. Are we really losing it over this Michael Jordan incident? you know. So let's see what people are saying. That kid is the driver that one's son, I believe, and he had ice down his shirt and champagne that squirted on him. People will try to make anything something that it ain't. Well, it still doesn't make sense when you watch the video. I mean, it's just all over the place, you know. I honestly don't know what YouTube's going to have to do to stop that video from hitting this platform, you know, because it's clear to me they don't want the video on their platform, but I mean, this thing is just all over the place. If this was Biden, you would have condemned his actions. Why can't people view this objectively? It was inappropriate AF. Yes, it really did feel inappropriate. I've said that many times. So other people are viewing it the same way. He had ice on his shirt. Some people want everyone to be a pedo. No, we don't want everyone to be a pedo. We just don't want kids, you know, to have to go through this type of stuff. I mean, I know a lot of kids had to go through this type of stuff, you know, when I was growing up in the 80s. And I just think it needs to stop, all right? If MJ is the child's godfather, then for me, that does not change things. When my children are around or in the care of my inner circle, which is also where their godparents reside, then they look out for them the same way their father or I would. There is an absolute distinct difference between how parents and inner circle adults interact with children and how others, including strangers, should interact with them. Yes, I'd have to agree with that statement too. I mean, if this was my child, I would not be happy, you know, about this incident. I wouldn't be happy at all. In fact, I would probably be taking Michael Jordan to court on this incident. But that's just me, you know. Well, you shouldn't be touching kids, I'll say but. Just saying, there's a line of decorum and a line of ethics that you must maintain, especially in public. This doesn't make him really anything, but I do think it was a bad choice and maybe he should consider not making this mistake again. Yes, you know, that's just it. I mean, this shouldn't be happening, you know. I'm confused and heartbroken as I loved Michael Jordan and I wanted to be the white disabled Michael Jordan, but this video has broken my heart. I still love that Nike and Space Jam as I was born in the early 90s. Yeah, and that's just it. This video gives me PTSD. It hurts for me to watch the video. And to see so many big time celebs, you know, big name people, you know, like Stephen A. Smith, you know, coming out and just defending it to no end, knowing he would attack anybody else for the most part who wasn't Michael Jordan. I just feel like it's a bad look overall. As if Jordan is that dumb while the camera's rolling and the boys' parents are right there. People who have anything negative to say are operating under very low IQ. Well, there's a lot of people talking about this, you know, and the people who are sticking up for Michael Jordan keep saying that, you know, anyone who questions this is stupid. Anyone who questions this has, you know, the wrong motives, all right? But you have a lot of people in the USA who are looking out, you know, for people who need looked out for, like a kid, for instance, you know. So I would disagree with that statement. Some people just choose to pick and choose what they believe, especially when you spent so much on shoes. Imagine that. Yeah, I mean, this is a hard video to watch. A lot of people, they just don't want to accept it, I believe, you know. Or they want to twist it into something that, you know, they want to twist it into. But the video speaks for itself. He was getting a piece of ice out of his shirt and it went into his shorts. It wasn't anything. Well, I feel like if that's the case, then the boy's father, you know, should have been doing it, not Michael Jordan, all right? People just bored because they just want to see a successful black man down. That's not it at all, man. You know, it's the issue here is, you know, like for me, you know, I have more or less, you know, looked up to Michael Jordan since 1983. I mean, like he's, you know, like the greatest athlete on the planet for the most part, you know. You know, he's my hero. when you see your hero doing something that you question, I said it before, it really left a bad taste in my mouth, It kind of gave me some PTSD, I don't even like to see pictures of the video, to be honest, anymore, It's just really upsetting and hard to watch for, me. Knowing what I know, what I've been through, what I've seen in my life, and a lot of other people, they're just going to sweep this under the rug, they're going to give Michael Jordan a pass on this. And a lot of that has to do with, acceptance and belief, As a journalist, I watched it with my own eyes. I saw what I saw. I thought it was just really ugly, to say the least. What's crazy is that if it was a random dude, then this guy would probably not be saying that. He's done nothing wrong. That's just it. If it was anybody else, we know how politics are. If that was a guy on the left, if that was a guy on the right, the other political side would just be, attacking to no end here. That's just it, about the USA. Justice isn't equal in the USA, unfortunately. It is what it is. Why is he touching his bottom period? That's the problem. Yeah, that's just it, I get it. He's got some ice. He's got some water on him, but it's not up to, some stranger or your parent's friend or your parent's employer to help you with it, in my opinion, especially, I can't imagine justifying this day and night, I just don't think there's any way to justify it. I believe the issue is just the fact that people want to believe in what people want to believe in, And a lot of people, are sticking up for it. A lot of people are not sticking up for it. A lot of people are calling it out. A lot of people aren't calling it out. So anyway, I'd like to thank my subscribers. You're the only reason I keep doing these videos. I'd like to thank my viewers as well. If you could subscribe, it would really help out my channel. Anyway, I hope you have a great day. I'm out of here. Bye.